Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the stage, Tony Robbins.
How y'all doing out there? All our KBB family, let us hear ya. That's the energy, Michael Voss. Nice, Tammy Sudik. Holly Maxwell, I see you rocking it. Luis, there you go, Luis. Nice, Thomas Messino. Ashley. Oh, yes. All right. See, lots of people know what to do, but they don't do what they know. Why? Fear. We all know that, but what is fear? Fear is really just an emotion, but the emotion comes from a thought. A thought may be repeated again and again, and if you've talked yourself into a belief or a thought over and over again, it becomes a belief. This session is going to be about belief busting, because the only thing that's going to stop you, yes, it'll be the emotion of fear, but fear comes and goes, right? Have you ever done something you're really scared and you just pushed through it, and within a few minutes you weren't afraid anymore? Who can relate? Who's had fear and you pushed through it and you felt better within a few minutes? Say I. Say I. So the fear, yes, it can stop you in the moment, the anxiety, the tension, but what really stops us is when we keep bringing the fear up because of a belief. I'm not good enough. I don't know what to do. I've never done this before. I'm not a professional. I'm not a speaker. I don't know how to do business. Whatever story you have, I'm not good on camera. And so those beliefs produce these feelings. We don't just have the feelings. I mean, sometimes it can be triggered unconsciously, but usually there's a thought that triggers the feelings. And there's certain thoughts that we consistently feel. And we think them over and over again. And so all they are is a habit. But what we're going to do is some belief busting here. Who's got some beliefs right now? Do you have some beliefs that you're aware of consciously that you know better than the belief, but it still gets you at time? Who can relate to this? If you can, say I. Come on, say I. And if you're sitting there home watching me, I want you to say I. The reason is, if you sit passively as you learn something, and this is a workshop, if you sit passively, you'll hear some things, you'll learn something. You might go, wow, this is really interesting. This is good shit. Yeah, we should do this. But if you don't engage your body, if you don't use your voice, you're not going to use everything in you. In order to get yourself to take action, you have to be in a different state than passive. So in a workshop, you want to think differently. If you're just learning something passively, you're sitting here saying, this is good, this is interesting, this is useful. But the problem is there's no emotion. The way we get ourselves to make new decisions and take new actions is we produce more energy, more emotion. Energy or emotion is energy in motion. So that's why I'm going to ask you to yell back the answer if you would, even if you're by yourself. I know it might feel weird at first, but just so you keep the energy strong. Those who want to do this, raise your right hand, say I. Say I. So the secret here is to understand what beliefs are, because beliefs can create or beliefs can destroy. If your belief says there's always a way and I'm going to find it, and you feel that sense of certainty, you're going to find the answer. If your belief is, I've tried everything and nothing works, then that's also going to put you in a totally different mental and emotional state, and you're not going to find the answer. It's been said before, whether you say you can or whether you say you can't, you're right. Because whatever you say over and over again with enough emotion, with enough consistency, you become. And so if you and I are going to shift our business and we're going to implement the things we've talked about, then we have to remember that knowledge is not power. Knowledge is potential power. The real power comes from execution. And execution comes by getting yourself in a strong enough state that you follow through, even if you're a little bit afraid. But what will help you is to interrupt the old patterns. They're just habits, the patterns of thought that have kept you from succeeding in the past. And so we thought right in the middle of working on this, let's take a little short time here and do like a little mini workshop. So what is a belief? Do you know? Put in the chat box what you think a belief is. I'd love to hear your definition for those of you here that are watching live. And if you're not, you're watching us later on, write it down. What do you think a definition of belief is? Write it down. What is it? Jot it in there. A belief is something we think is true. A belief is a sense of certainty. Good, somebody's been trained by me before. So all a belief is, jot it down if you would in your notes. And I hope you're taking notes, not just watching this video passively. The reason is if you listen passively, you'll I'm going to obtain a small amount of this. 30 days from now, maybe you'll remember 5 or 10% of it. But if you listen and you take notes like you're going to teach somebody you love, if you take notes and even if you think you know the answer, you write it down. Just the act of writing it down creates that repetition in your nervous system. Now, if you add the sound and the emotion that we're talking about, it'll go even deeper. If I asked you, where were you on the night or the day of 9/11, when you heard about 9/11 here in the United States, even though many of you from other parts of the world, how many remember where you were, who was around you vividly in that moment? Raise your hand and say, I. Say, I. Now, what I'm asking you to do then is to think about where were you on 8/11? And on 8/11, most people can't tell me where they were because information without emotion is barely retained. Information with emotion, that has real power. So the deep emotion is that sense of certainty about something. And so how do we develop limiting beliefs or positive beliefs? Well, we pick up our beliefs usually around the way. Some people say, well, I have no self-esteem because I was always told what a piece of whatever I am. It's not true. You build your beliefs. People tell your whole life that you're worthless and you can go, that's BS, I'm going to show them with certainty. Or someone could tell your whole life, you're beautiful, you're perfect, you're gorgeous, and you could say, I have no self-esteem. It's not what people tell us, it's what we build. Let me show you in a little simple model. Here's what a belief is like, if I may show you real quick. My little scribble is not attractive, but it'll give you a feel. What a belief is think of it as being like a tabletop. Now, there are 3 types of beliefs. Let's write them down real fast if you would. There's opinions. Opinions are relatively easy to change. There's a belief. That's a little harder to shift, but I'm going to show you how. And then there's a conviction. What's the difference between a belief, or I should say an idea, right? A belief and a conviction. You can have an idea about anything. Let's put on this tabletop an idea. And the idea is the world is flat. Well, you may have an idea of that, but it's not going to hold up unless you put some legs under it. And these legs are what support you in feeling certain that what's on that tabletop is true, that it's immovable. So let's take a phrase like, I'm sexy, all right? I want you to do me a favor. Everybody here, yell, I'm sexy as loud as you can. Go ahead, yell, I'm sexy, ladies and gentlemen. Come on, I can see, I'm sexy. Okay, I see a lot of big smiles. Raise your hand if you really are sexy. Raise your hand if you really are sexy. There is 0 question about it. You are one sexy person. Okay, good. Raise your hand if you are not sexy. If you do not believe you're sexy, raise your hand. If you do not believe you're sexy. Okay, so now I see a lot of people think they're sexy. It's a very humble group. And a few of you think you're not sexy. What's the difference? Can you be sexy and not think you are? Is that possible? Are there attractive people that don't think they're very attractive? Yes or no? Give me a thumbs up or thumb down so I can see, right? Of course there are. Are there people that are not very sexy that think they are? Yes, there are too. So it's not based on reality, it's based on how you build the belief. So why are we talking about this first? So you don't forget. Because the only thing stopping you are limiting beliefs. And you need to identify them, take out the legs, and replace them. So if we took this thing like I'm sexy, let's find somebody here that says they're sexy. Casey Hill over here. I see Casey Hill. Let's hear it for Casey Hill, ladies and gentlemen. No, give it up for Casey, everybody. All right, unmic Casey so I can talk to her, please. So there you are, Casey. Can you hear me?
I can. Hi, Tony.
Hi, how are you? Where are you in the world, Casey?
Rhode Island.
Rhode Island! Give it up for Rhode Island, everybody, for God's sakes. Casey, I understand you're sexy. Is that true?
Yes.
Yes. And you're certain you're sexy. Is that true?
Yes.
Good. So what you're telling me is, how do you know you're sexy? Let's see how she knows. She has a belief. By the way, what's a belief? A feeling of absolute certainty.
Certainty.
Right? It's not an opinion, it's a belief. By the way, a conviction is so certain you'd almost die for it. And I'll explain that in a moment. That could be a religious conviction. It could be something else. But right now, she has a belief. She feels certain she's sexy. How do you know you're sexy, Casey? Tell me how you know.
I know I'm sexy. I know I'm sexy because I always tell everybody you're beautiful and sexy no matter what you look like, that it's from within.
Okay,
And
so I want to show you, she knows she's sexy because she has legs under her table, right? She has what are called references. That's what these legs are. She's going to give me a series of references, experiences, things she's heard or said or felt or believed that make her believe she's sexy. One of the ways she knows she's sexy is I tell everyone they're sexy no matter what they look like. Okay? How else do you know you're sexy, Casey?
because I feel with my heart, like not just my mind, I feel with my heart, and a heart is a beautiful.
Great. She goes, I have a beautiful heart. I have a beautiful heart. That's another way she knows. I tell other people, I know I have a beautiful heart, I feel. How else do you know you're sexy, Casey?
Because my husband tells me.
Okay, your husband tells you. And give me one more way you know you're sexy. So she tells other people, doesn't matter what you look like, you're sexy. She feels her own heart is sexy. Her husband tells her she's sexy. Give me one more way you know you're sexy.
Because I'm an amazing businesswoman, and businesswomen are sexy.
Oh, businesswomen are sexy, and I'm a businesswoman. And have you had other men or other women tell you you're sexy before?
Yes, that you are.
Now, I want you to notice what we just did just for a second. Just playfully. First of all, Casey, you're so awesome. Don't go anywhere. Give her a hand, though, for what she's done already. Give her a big hand for
Thank you. I love you, Tony.
Thank you. So Casey has built a series of legs that make her feel that she's sexy. Now, she's going to feel certain as long as she's got legs to support it, right? And she does. Now, could a sexy person doubt themselves? Yes. The way we create doubt, and by the way, listen to me now, this is important. If you got a limiting belief, it means you're certain something can't happen. You're not enough, it's not enough, it won't work, I've tried everything. How do you get rid of something you're certain about that's not good for you? Think of martial arts, if you're familiar with martial arts. You sweep the legs. If I take out your legs, you're gonna drop. And the way we sweep these legs is we question them. We doubt them. See, if I said Casey here, and I don't know Casey personally, but if I said Casey is my dear friend, Casey is a love, Casey is got a beautiful heart, Casey is generous as can be, and I have all these beliefs I feel certain about Casey. And then you tell me Casey's a manipulator, she's a liar, look at that fake grin she's got there smiling at you, it's all manipulation. And if I know her means I feel certain. I believe who she is, that big heart there. And I come along and I go, no, you're wrong. Casey's a beautiful lady. I've known her forever. But if three of you come to me and say, Tony, you're being seduced. Casey talks behind your back. She doesn't give a damn about you. She manipulates everybody. And if three people tell me that, then what could happen? I might go, is it possible Casey's manipulating? Is that smile a manipulation? And what that does is it takes out your legs, because the only way you can keep a belief is not to question it. Please write that down. Right. The only way to keep a belief, whether it's a positive one or a negative one, is not to question it. The more you question it, the more you produce doubt. And doubt is usually your enemy, but not when you want to get rid of a negative belief. You want to learn to doubt your negative beliefs, right? And believe the higher truths. The higher truths are you're capable of anything. That's right, yes. The higher truth is you're made for this. The higher truth is if you're trying to serve and your intention is to do something really good, ideas, insights are going to come to you. But you can't put in a new, anybody old enough to remember CDs? Anybody ever listen to music on CDs? Anybody old enough, some ancient people out there, right? Now, when you listen to a CD, how come you heard the same message every time? Because on the CD, they cut a pattern. And when the laser hit it, it would play the same pattern, hear the same music. But what if, the old days were a movie, even a DVD. But what if I want to change the song in your head, what you believe? Well, if I try to put a new CD, oh, you can do this, on top of the old CD that's playing says you can't do it, never works, you're not enough. It's not going to work. The only way to make it work is I got to pull out the old CD, take out a needle, and go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth across it. Anybody ever have this in the old days? And then you put it back in and it won't play. So now you'll kick it out. And now you're open to something new, and now we can put something new in that actually empowers you to take action. That's what we're gonna do a little mini version of today, okay? So now, let me give you an opposite example. First of all, let's give Casey by the way, what if you thought Casey was your dear friend? She loves you, she respects you, she'd do anything for you, you do anything for her. And one day she treats you real mean, real harsh. What are you gonna do? You might be mad because you feel hurt because you love Casey and she loves you. And she would never do this, I can tell. But if she did, you would wrestle with this. But what if you gotta go to work or you gotta make a phone call or you gotta go to a meeting? You would probably rationalize her behavior because you'd say, Casey's probably having a bad what? Day. How many would have thought that? Raise your hand if it's your friend that didn't work out well. You'd rationalize their behavior, wouldn't you? Now, by the way, how many of you have ever behaved in a way you hope people rationalized your behavior, right? We all have. But what if you had the opposite belief about Casey? And by the way, when you have a belief about a person and you're certain about it, it means you hold an identity for them. So if my identity is Casey's my friend, she's generous, she's sweet, she's incredible, and she treats me harshly, but she's my friend, I'm gonna go, she's having a bad day. But what if you had a belief about Casey that she's a manipulating something and she'd do anything for money and she doesn't care about you at all? Look at that manipulating smile and that fake little heart she puts up there all the time, right? Look at that stuff trying to manipulate me. I'm not gonna be manipulated. And what if you believe she's a manipulator and she's not, but what if you believe she was? And then she didn't treat you harsh. No, she treated you real nice. What's gonna be the first question in your mind? What does she want? How many know what I'm talking about here? Make some noise if you got it out there. Say I. Say I. So what you got to see is our life is not controlled by the people around us. It's not controlled even by reality. It's controlled by our perceptions, or another word for that is our beliefs. Because I'm going to judge Casey completely differently about one belief about her than another. Now, where this is really important is not just other people. It's yourself. Because you develop beliefs about yourself. And so we need to discover what they are real quick and take out the legs by producing doubt, by questioning them. Could you be a beautiful, sexy person and not feel beautiful and sexy? The answer is yes. So who here does not feel sexy? You do not believe you're sexy. You do not. How about Paula up here? Yes, Paula. Give a hand for Paula, everybody. Give it up for her. Come on, give it up for Paula, everybody. Paula, how you doing? Can you hear me? How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
You don't feel like you're doing totally great being called on. Listen, where are you in the world, Paula?
I am in beautiful Austin, Texas.
Austin, Texas! Texas is another country for most people who live in Texas. So, Paula, I understand you do not think you're sexy. Is that right?
No.
Okay.
I guess it's because I have... my upbringing is such that it would make me feel like that would be impolite and also unladylike. To try to be
so
that way.
she'd have us things that says, if I believe I'm sexy, then I'm impolite, then I'm, what was the other word you said? Not ladylike? Not ladylike.
Unladylike.
What else?
Perhaps showy.
Okay, showy.
And gaudy.
Gaudy. And what does showy and gaudy mean? And what else? You gave me one more?
Well, my mom was British, so she had very...
that explains it all, doesn't it?
She was
There's
very...
my Brit friends out there.
She was very unshowy.
Yes, unshowy, appropriate.
Stoic, appropriate.
Stoic,
yes, sir.
appropriate, right?
Yes.
And so she was raised that way. So she was raised to believe, if I believe I'm sexy, then I'm all these negative things, and I'm certain about it because I have so many. And yet, Paula, let me ask you a question. Is it possible that being sexy is a sense of God coming through you, a sense of radiance, a sense of joy that comes to your eyes and your face, or a sense of love for other human beings that people feel that makes them feel lifted? Could that be a sexy experience? Well, do you think people feel radiance as aliveness, God, love, joy, sexiness?
Perhaps for the right person.
Perhaps for the right person. Okay, good. Yeah. So I'm going to show you a little process that we're going to do just real fast that I do with myself when I have my own limiting beliefs to bust them. So if I said to you, Paula, right now, in your business, I'm going to shift subjects for you just for a second. In your business, you know, I believe that the chokehold on the growth of any business, and I'm fortunate enough to have over 80 companies now. We do $6 billion in sales, and the diversity of my companies goes from sports teams I own, like the LAFC soccer club, and esports teams, to my resort in Fiji, to an AI company. I mean, I can go on and on and on. There are 80 plus companies. I've had to figure out all along the way with myself and other people when they weren't growing, why aren't they growing? And the answer is it's always the psychology and the skills of the leader. But I found that it's 80% psychology and 20% skills. Like, you can get the skills if you can change the psychology. And psychology is a big word for the way we feel, which comes from what we believe. And a lot of times we have conflicting beliefs. How many of you can relate to this? Like, you've been taught two different things. Like, you were taught, look before you leap. And you're also taught, he who hesitates is lost. Work that shit out in your head, right? So we get conflicts, right? So in your business, Paula, what's a limiting belief that's gotten in the way, do you think, of going to the next level, if there is one you're aware of? And I'm putting you on the spot. We're going to do a little workshop in a moment, but I just thought, just off the top, I'd ask you.
The biggest step right now that is limiting me is my ability to form a company due to a divorce. And so it's been really hard because I am under the restriction of attorneys and company agreements. And so with partnerships, so, you know, but after that, I mean, we're working really hard, companies and books and writing and editing and trying to still progress and do what we can. You know, it's tax season as well, and it's a COVID year, and we're trying to do the best we can with what we got. So I have every confidence we're going to succeed. I
believe you. But I also want you to hear what the human mind does. This is not Paula I'm talking about. It's the human mind.
Okay.
The human mind is, our brain is 2 million years old. And in those 2 million years, in order for us to survive, it built in a survival brain. And that survival brain has one primary objective. It is not to make you happy. It is not to make you successful. It is make you survive. So there's a part of everyone's brain in this virtual room around the world, and all of you joining us right now, that's always looking for, how could I get hurt? How could I not look good? How could I fail? And it used to be looking for a saber-toothed tiger so we could either fight or flight, run from it, or freeze so it wouldn't notice. Those are three choices. When we get fearful, when we're unsure, we either freeze, we fight, or we flight. That survival mechanism is still in every one of us 2 million years later, and we don't have to worry about a saber-toothed tiger unless you live in Africa, right, or someplace. And even then, you're not going to find a saber-toothed tiger. You might find a tiger, right? So the point is, this part of our brain looks for all the reasons it can't be done, because what it's trying to do is protect us from disappointment, losing face, losing money, losing whatever. And so I believe you're going to succeed in spite of it, but I want you to hear how many reasons you gave me why it would be hard to succeed. Did you notice how many? You gave me COVID. You gave me the divorce. You gave me, what was the other one you said? Something about the economy? What else did you give me? You gave me 4. I heard at least 3 of them. What was the 4th one?
Oh, partnerships and company agreements.
Partnerships and company agreements.
And taxes.
Oh, thank you. And taxes.
We're doing all these things at once.
So let me stack as much shit on top myself as possible that could get in the way, but I'm going to succeed anyway. That's the way our brain protects our ego. And by the way, we all have ego. Don't think of ego as a bad thing. Think of it as fear. Ego is just fear. When the fear comes up, it's kind of so I got to come up with these reasons, because here's what we're all most afraid of. All humans, not you, Paula, all humans. I've worked around the earth for this is my 44th year of doing this, believe it or not. I started when I was 17. I've traveled to 150 countries. I've worked with hundreds of millions of people. I've worked with the most successful, the most challenged. Everybody's afraid they're not enough in some situation. Not strong enough, not smart enough, not quick enough, not rich enough, not young enough, not old enough, not smart enough, not funny enough, not something enough. Who here has ever felt like you're not enough? Raise your hand, make some noise if you got it out there, ladies and gentlemen. We all feel that way. I've got presidents of countries. I get the phone calls from people you would think would feel totally enough in every situation, but they don't in some. And when you feel like you're not enough, it fires the deepest fear we all have. then I won't be loved. In fact, many of you are trying to succeed and achieve to prove you're worthy to yourself or others of love at the deepest, the highest level. It's the human condition. And the reason is when you and I were born, we didn't have to do anything to be loved. Even if you think your parent left you, even if they did, you survived because somebody loved you. Somebody put your needs ahead of their own or you wouldn't have survived. We don't survive if you drop a kid in the forest with nobody there. We are totally dependent from another human being, and love is what makes them put our needs ahead of their own. It is the reason that as a species we have grown. But there is a day when that unconditional love disappears. See, why does every mother think their child looks beautiful even though he looks like a lizard when he was born, right? Dad goes, he's a lizard. Mom goes, he's not a lizard, the most beautiful thing in the world. He's toothless, he's drooling, he's got no hair, but he's beautiful. That's because every mother is filled with a drug called oxytocin. Men get it too, but women get about tenfold, especially when they have a child.
Yes.
And that makes you love that child even though he looks like a lizard. But there's a day the oxytocin wears off where now instead of throwing shit and being loved, vomiting on something you love, going to the bathroom everywhere, it doesn't work that way. There's one day when you do the same thing and you get yelled at or you get smacked, or the worst thing, you get ignored. And that produces fear in all humans eventually. Because now we don't feel like we're enough and we have to do something to be enough. And now I want to try and start a business, but I'm not certain what to do. And I got these contracts and I've got the COVID and I've got taxes and oh my God, but I'm going to succeed. It's a game we play with ourselves. And Paula, you've been so beautiful because you've been so honest. Thank you for that vulnerability and truth. You're beautiful. Give her a hand, first of all, for this. This is gorgeous.
You,
really beautiful. No, really. But I want you to know that. So I want you to know I honor it. But see, by being vulnerable, we can start to see the truth that's in our head. It's hard when it's in our head. That you're accumulating all these reasons why it's going to be hard, but I'm going to succeed anyway. And the succeed anyway, Paula, is because you've developed a core belief and identity that says, I find the way. And I really believe you will succeed. But you're making it so freaking hard, so if it doesn't go well, you can justify, well, it didn't go as fast as we want because of COVID, because of the taxes, because this, when you and I both know you can get through all this. True?
I will. Amen.
I know you will. But let's make it so you can do it easier and better by not having to accumulate all the reasons why it's hard. That's just the mind giving you a protection to say, if it didn't work, I could point to all these reasons. It wasn't me. It wasn't that I'm not enough and not worthy of love. My deepest fear, same as every human, it's because of all this stuff. And what happens is that stuff gets in the way. So I want to show you and everybody, I'll show you a simple process that I've developed over the years. And I have a friend, some of you may have heard of Byron Katie. Any of you heard of Byron Katie? Like when I do things, I do them pretty intense, as you can probably tell here. But Byron Katie's a beautiful friend of mine, and she has this stuff called The Work. And we both help people change beliefs, but she has like these 4 questions. And I ask the same questions, only I really do 3. We do these things kind of independently of either, but I want to acknowledge her because she's gorgeous. And if you pick up The Work, it's more for therapy. But I also look at this as business. So I want to acknowledge the role she's played, but also maybe tighten it for you real quick. So let me show you how we're going to do this, Paula, and everybody else as well. If the whole idea is a belief is nothing but a feeling of certainty about something, so I'm certain it's not going to work, it's not going to work. In fact, let me show you something, all of you. Let's play a game real fast. You too, Paula. I know you're in a familiar environment, but I'd like you to try something. If you're in an unfamiliar environment, it'd be even easier, but just try it anyway. When I say now, I want you to look all around the room you're in and look for brown. Brown anywhere you can find it. Brown things, brown people, brown wall, brown anything. Look around. Look for brown, 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 look for brown. Okay? Close your eyes. Everybody close your eyes. And tell me everything you just saw that was red. How many of you are seeing more brown than red right now? Raise your hand nice and high. Make a noise. Make a sound. Say aye. Say aye. Now, open your eyes and look for everything you can find that's red. Look around you, look for red. Look for anything that's red. Look, there's gotta be red somewhere. Look around, look behind you, look for red, look for red. Raise your hand if you found more red this time. Raise your hand nice and high. Say aye. Say aye. Now here's a question. You got what you looked for even if it wasn't there. What? I'll prove it to you. How many saw beige shit, called it brown, just so you could count it, feel more successful? How many counted beige things? Okay, Paul, I see you did it too, right? How many saw burgundy and called it red? How many saw burgundy and called it red just to feel successful, right? So here's what I want you to understand. If you think there's something wrong with you or another person, you're going to find it even if it's not there. If you think there's something great, you're going to find it even if it's not there. That's why I said whether you think you can, you think you can't, you're right. Because our brain finds legs to back up whatever we believe. And once we believe something, we accumulate more legs. We get other people to tell us, oh, you're right, it can't work because of COVID, or you can't do this because of the lawyers. We accumulate people around us that support our limiting beliefs. But we can shift those. And you've done that many times, Paula, or you wouldn't be here. I can see that already. That's obvious. But let me show you how I do it with me using a combination of just, what did I say? You want to loosen these legs? How do you do that? These are the references that hold things in place. If we want to get rid of those, we can sweep the legs. So let's try it this way. I'm going to throw it up on the screen for you, Paul, and I'm going to bring you back. So you're still with me, but on the screen, let's throw up here these 3 steps, and everybody jot them down if you would. If you and I are going to bust a negative belief, we need to break the pattern of that thinking, the pattern of that thought, the pattern of that emotion. So we're going to do it with some simple questions. And when Byron Katie does this, she asks the question, is it true? Like, I can't do this. I've tried everything. Is it true? Well, most people go, yes, it is true. So honoring her, I leave it, but I've added to it. I say, is it true? I mean, could it be a misinterpretation or a misperception on our part? Do we really have all the information necessary to know this is impossible or this can't be done or it'll never work? If you just go, is it true? Your brain already says it's true and you'll just keep saying it. So that we want to break that pattern. How many understand if you question enough, you'll produce a little doubt? If you're honest, say I. So you can take any limiting belief and you do this. So let's go back to the second question, then we'll walk through it. So the second question is, once we break the pattern, the person goes, well, it is possible. I don't know everything. It is possible that that this could be done. I don't see how, but it is possible. The minute they acknowledge their belief is not true for certain, you've loosened the legs. Now we're going to loosen them some more by what I call getting leverage. The only way we change anything, if it's difficult at least, is if there's leverage, meaning consequences. All the beliefs you have right now came from consequences. So I'll give you an example. Let's imagine you fall head over heels in love with somebody. You're out of your mind. It's the most passionate, beautiful, magnificent, sexy, sensual, spiritual relationship of your life. And then boom, it's feeling so good. And one day it ends abruptly. What's going to happen in your nervous system? Your brain is trained, avoid pain, get pleasure as much as I can. But you know, you had all this pleasure associated to this person, and now it's the most painful thing because it ended. And your brain's trying to figure out how to avoid this in the future, so it has to come up with a belief, something that in the future will keep you away from the pain and towards the pleasure. So what does your brain do? It goes, relationships are painful, relationships aren't worth it, or men are jerks or worse, or women are whatever or worse. How many follow what I'm talking about? If you get it, raise your hand, say I. Say I. So once we develop the belief, it's like the wall that protects us. Like you're building, Paula, you're going full out, and I know you're going to succeed. But meanwhile, you're building multiple walls around you so that if it doesn't work out, you go, well, you know, I'm going to succeed eventually, but these walls got in the way. COVID, the lawyers, all this shit. And there's nothing that you're saying that's not true. It's just not effective. It's not empowering. And there's a deeper truth beyond those limitations. And you and I know it, but the brain's like protecting us. The wall that protects you imprisons you, my friends. Jot it down. The wall I've used to protect myself from my fears, my fear of failure, my fear of not being enough, my fear of not being loved, the wall that I use, the beliefs I use to protect myself from feeling that, imprison me. We want to tear down the walls and discover freedom. That's, Paula, what you deserve. So you don't have to fight so hard for it. So you can do it even more quickly and clearly, in spite of COVID, in spite of the taxes, in spite of all the things. I know they're all true, but they're not all empowering. And there's a deeper truth. And what better to go for the deeper truth than just the surface truth that protects us? Am I making sense to you? If this is making sense, please raise your hand and say aye. Say aye. Awesome. So we want to break the pattern by producing doubt, and then we want to get leverage. Leverage means we want to link pain to these limiting beliefs. But if you tell someone, if you keep doing that, you're going to have all these problems, people go, oh, BS. If I tell you what to believe, you're going to doubt it. But if you tell me, it's true. So we want to question and we want to break the pattern. So the second question we're going to ask is, how do you feel when you believe that thought? When you believe, well, in fact, before I go through all three of them, let's actually do it with you, Paula. Let's bring your sound back up and let's do it with you. But let's not do the business one first. Let's do the I'm not sexy one first, because that one's deeper for you, okay? So first of all, give it back up for Paula. Bring her on up there. Give it a hand for her. Come on, let her hear you. Let her hear you, ladies and gentlemen. All right, Paula, are you willing to play on this one with me?
Okay.
Okay. Well, take a breath. I promise it won't be painful. It'll actually be pleasurable when you're done. And you don't have to do anything. I'm not going to make you do anything, Paula. How could I? I can't. But I would like you to give yourself some more freedom if you'd be open to it. Are you open to that possibility?
Yes.
Okay, good. Then let's do this process. I've given you 2 steps. Rather than walk you through 3, there's 4 steps. There's 3 steps and a turnaround. Let's actually do it in real time. So Paula, your limiting belief is, I'm not sexy because sexy people, they're showy, they're not polite, they're not ladylike, they're none of those things. They're not good people. Paula, is that really true? I mean, could that be a misinterpretation based on your upbringing or a misperception? Could it have good intent, but actually be harmful to you to believe that? I mean, is it possible? Do we really have all the information to know that every person that believes they're sexy is showy and shallow and terrible and uncaring? Do we really have enough information to know that's true? Do we know for sure that's true? If you keep telling yourself you're not sexy, is it possible that that's a misinterpretation, that you're not sexy from your training, your background, your conditioning?
Yes.
Is it possible that's a misperception that you actually could be sexy but not experience it because you're afraid of what that would mean based on your conditioning? Is that possible? Is it possible?
Yes.
Is it possible that it's not true that you're not sexy? Is it possible?
It is
Give her a hand. It's possible, ladies and gentlemen. My God, give it up. No, let her hear you. It's possible.
I'm also very embarrassed.
So I love this because now she's open. There's a little bit opening, not a lot, just a little. All we need is a little crack in there to now get some leverage. And how do we get leverage? Here's the phrase. Tell me, Paula, and I do this to myself, Paula. We can all do this to ourselves. But in this case, I'll say, Paula, tell me, how do you feel when you tell yourself constantly, I'm not sexy? What do you experience when you think showiness means you're not sexy? What do you believe? What do you feel about yourself when you have those thoughts? How does it make you feel?
I never consider that.
I know. I'm asking you to consider it now, though.
I never.
By saying I'm not sexy.
I'm trying to think about it. I'm trying to think about it, but it just doesn't come up. I just don't ever think about that.
I know you don't. That's why it stays. But if you and I, but the reason I want to use this one on you because it's harder than the business one. You're going to do the business one much easier. So I want to do the hard one so you know it really works, and I want you to do this for yourself. All I'm doing is asking the questions to help guide you so that all of you can do this on your own later on. So for example, if I start saying to myself, oh my God, I've tried everything, this is impossible. My first question, then I've trained myself, go, is it true? And I don't wait and stop with that because then I'll go, of course it's true. I go, is it true? Do I have all the information to know for sure that this is impossible? Have I examined every possibility? Is it possible it's a misperception on my part? It's like, okay, it's possible it's a misperception. Okay, how do I feel when I tell myself it's impossible? How do I feel when I say it can't be done? How does that make me feel? What do I experience? I feel like hell. I get pissed off. I feel frustrated. And what do I do? Nothing. You see what I'm doing? So I want you to do that with yourself if you're willing to. Are you willing to?
Well, yes, sir. So, for instance, if I'm not sexy, then it's a good way to protect me. And at this point in my life,
that's the positive.
That
So you're
may
saying, you're saying, Tony, I found a good wall to protect myself. But what's the price of that wall?
Well, perhaps holding myself back from a romantic relationship.
Yes.
That could be.
Yes.
And I've never even thought about that until just this exercise, to be quite honest. I've never even considered the time to think about that.
I understand.
That could possibly be true, because to think about that would be really sad, to come to the realization that that may cause me not to have a relationship ever.
Yes.
And that's not good.
How would that feel if you realize that belief? Yeah.
That would be terrible.
Is that what you want to feel?
A romantic relationship.
I understand.
I mean, I have many relationships in business and friendships and even male friends, but a romantic relationship to me would be quite scary. And maybe that's why. I don't know. I've never explored it, to be honest.
But if you missed out in this lifetime on that level of love and connection and intimacy, one way beyond friendship, what would the price of that be for your life?
That would be huge. That would be huge.
Is that what you want to feel? Good. Then let's go to the third question. Now, how many see we have leverage? Like before, she didn't even want to change it. Raise your hand if you see this. She didn't even want to change it, right? Now she's starting to see the consequences. Instead of me telling her, by the way, this is what I do to myself. I'm showing you what I do to myself. I ask these questions. But also, we can do this with others we care for, as long as you're not interrogating somebody. Like, I know you can feel, Paula, I'm on your side. I'm not making you wrong. I get you're a successful woman. You can do anything you want. But I also know you're here because you want to grow, or you wouldn't take the time. Like, you got to do a million other things right now. So I want you to know I'm grateful for your vulnerability and truth. Give her a hand again for what she's done already. Give her a big hand, ladies and gentlemen. All right? Now, this doesn't feel good. I know it doesn't feel good. So I got a third question for you. We want to annihilate the belief. So here's how you do it, guys. All you ask is, what if this thought never even existed? What if you never had the thought that I'm not sexy, or being showy is sexy, or I shouldn't be sexy, or that's not whatever? What if you never had any of those thoughts at all? How would you feel about your life and yourself if you never had the thought that I'm not sexy or that I shouldn't be sexy? How would you feel? What would you experience? How would you behave if that belief actually didn't even exist in your nervous? It was gone.
In some ways, when I work really hard, it is gone.
Oh, that's good. I like that.
Yeah.
But what if it was gone without having to work so hard? What if it was just gone? Because I want you to notice, I'm sorry, guys, I can't help myself. I want to keep this simple, but I like to go deep. So I want you to notice she makes things hard so that she can earn it and know she's enough. She's doing it by telling me about COVID. She's doing it by the taxes. She's telling me about the lawyers. It's both protection, but also, Matt's a deeper piece is I have to work super hard and push through to know that I am worthy. But I'm asking you a different question. I'm asking you, what if all that bullshit belief, BS, bullshit, belief system, same thing, right? What if you never had that belief? What if you never had the belief that it had to be hard? And what if you never had the belief you had to work at it? And what if you just didn't have the belief that I'm not sexy and I don't need to be sexy or I shouldn't be? What if those beliefs didn't even exist?
I don't know. I don't think about that way.
I know you have. See, this is, by the way, why we don't make progress in an area. Paula loves to make progress in business. You know why? She feels in control of the business to some extent.
Yeah.
True?
Maybe.
But in relationship, maybe. But in relationship, right? But in relationship, it's you can't control relations so much more uncertainty, and there's more on the line. I'm like, who else can make you feel your deepest fear that you're not enough and you're not loved than someone whose love you crave? Watch this. I'll show you where her belief came from if you want. Paula, tell me, whose love did you crave? Whose love did you crave most growing up? Your mother or your father? I'm sure you love them both. I'm not asking that. I'm asking, whose love did you crave most? And by the way, I'm only talking to Paula and none of you. Don't you dare answer this question in your own mind. Okay? Whose love did you crave the most? Now, by the way, if you didn't have a mother or father, it could be a grandmother, grandfather, brother, sister, but usually it's a mother or father. Whose love, I know you love them both. Whose love did you crave the most, your mother or your father? You tell me.
It's probably my dad.
Yes.
You knew that.
Yes. And then watch this. And I want you to, if you could, Paula, don't even think. Just give me your first gut reaction. Who did you have to be for your father? First gut reaction. To have his respect or his love, who did you have to be? How did you have to be?
The business person.
That's right.
The entrepreneur.
That's right. And what else?
That's
Besides
it.
a business person, what kind of business person?
The fixer.
A fixer. Right? What else did you have to be? You had to be a business person, an entrepreneur. You had to be a fixer. What else did you have to be to have your father's respect and love?
I had to be the good person.
That's right.
Fix person. I had to fix stuff.
Yes. Did you have to be successful?
Yes. Make good grades. Be a good student.
Yes. Be good grades, be a good student, be a good business person, be good, be successful. What else?
Pillar of the community.
Pillar of the community.
Yeah.
That's all, huh? I thought you were
that.
done on the first three.
Well, you pushed me, so I'm trying to figure out what Dad would have wanted. So
It's beautiful. And so there are all these things. By the way, did you have to be perfect or not?
In my mind, I probably did.
Yeah.
Is that possible? Not for anyone.
No, you just answered the question so beautifully. Thank you. By the way, you just gave yourself a gift. You just start to have a belief that you realize is back there. I need to be perfect at some level. And then you first of all identified, maybe that's not from my dad. Maybe he implied that or I took it in. But then you asked a really great question. Is that possible? And the answer you know is no. The lowest standard in life is perfection. How can I say that? Because it's impossible to hit perfection and you know it. So all you do is use it as a tool to beat yourself up, to prove to yourself that you care so much and you're working so hard.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe that's true. Yeah.
Maybe? No, let's search.
And yet we go forward, and we continue every day to do the best we can. But
of course we do, because you have to be the successful and the pillar of the community and the fixer and all those things. The way we fix it to keep moving forward, all that is true. But there is a benefit in getting rid of what's limiting us in the first place by going a little deeper and not just on the surface.
Thank you.
So, you're welcome. And by the way, you're being awesome. Give another big hand for honesty. It's really, let her hear you, everybody. Beautiful job. Beautiful job, Paula. Beautiful job. So we're going to this really deep one when most of you are just going to look at this and where it gets in the way in business. But I want you to notice her drive in business comes from trying to be enough for her father. And she thinks she's got to be successful no matter what, the pillar of the community, kind of perfect. But she's not. I'm not. We're not. No human is. But I got to be that in order to have the most important thing in my life, that sense of love and significance. Even if her father wasn't alive, this would still be inside of her. Because that's how she started her conditioning, along with conditioning about I shouldn't be flashy and these things, those sexy things. That's not being a lady. Who'd you learn that from?
My mom.
Mom. So mom gets in here, dad gets in here, they're both in here, and she's running a blueprint of life that she didn't even create. And her mom and dad have the greatest intent, and I bet are really good human beings. But they aren't perfect either. Like, we're all amateur parents. We get to learn on our kids. Pretty scary thing.
Yeah.
The best intent. Like, what would her dad want? He'd want to make sure she was successful because he'd want her to have that. So he conditioned her for that. What did mom want to do? Not get in trouble, be a lady, be a class act, match the cultural upbringing that she did as well. And yet no one got to see who Paula was. Not even Paula completely knows who Paula is. But she's learning. As the years go by, she's learning, right?
Yes. Yes.
And what we're doing right now is maybe opening up more of Paula if she wants to, but that scares her a little bit because, look at that face, scares her a little bit because that's uncertain. But if you're going to be successful in business at the level you really, truly desire, and more importantly, have the meaning you deserve, Paula, it's worthy going deep and freeing yourself from an old conditioning because it does affect your business too. But more importantly, it affects the quality of your life. So even though I'm supposed to do this just for your business, everybody, I really want you to have a transformation in your life too if you want it. And all I'm going to do here, we'll focus on your business after we're done with this, but all I want to do is show all of you that a belief that you think controls you is nothing but a thought you've told yourself, maybe other people told it too, but over and over again with so much emotion till you're hypnotized. But you know what? Now that you believe it, you look for brown, you find beige shit and call it brown. You find burgundy stuff and you call it red. You meet the objective of your conditioning until you question it. And questioning can actually be freeing. Now, some of you question the good things all the time. What if this doesn't work? Well, that doesn't work. I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about questioning the limitations. Most people believe their doubts and doubt their beliefs. But if you want a new life today, we can teach you all these techniques, but what we really need to do is make sure anything that's in the way, we get rid of, and we can do it quickly through this little 4-step process. 3 questions and a turnaround. So what was question number 1? Is it true? But don't end finish with is it true, because your brain's going, of course it's true. I wouldn't have thought that in the first place, right? So you go, is it really true? I mean, do we really have all the information to know that I'm not sexy, or that if I'm flashy, that means I'm not a good person? Do we really, do we know for sure that, beyond a shadow of a doubt? Once she says, no, we don't know for sure, there's an opening. Step 2, get leverage. Leverage is what makes us change. Have you ever had the experience of having a certain dessert or food or alcohol that you loved, everybody out there, and then one day you had an experience that was very different, that was not pleasant, where that alcohol or that food that came in you got out of your body from various orifices without going in detail with great intensity? Who's ever had this experience before? Make some noise. Let me hear you out there. Say aye. Say aye. And when that happened, how many of you used to love that food, that dessert, that alcohol, but to this day, it was such a horrible experience that now it takes no willpower. You link pain to that form of alcohol or that dessert. You don't even thinking about it, you don't want it. Who knows what I'm talking about here? Say aye. Say aye. Well, you got conditioned around this issue, and all we did with the second question is, tell me, what do you feel? What do you experience if you really, I don't think about it, but if you do. And then she starts telling me, I could miss out on intimacy. I have lots of great friends, but I could miss out on one of the greatest experiences in my life. And you felt her state change from this big, smiling, beautiful woman to some other feelings that she has if she lets herself, but she doesn't want to have those. She just wants to fix it. Maybe we can fix it deeper. But just in one more question. And that question is, what if this thought didn't exist? What if you never had the thought that I'm showy and that's terrible, or I'm sexy and that's terrible, or I shouldn't be sexy, or I don't need to be sexy? What if all that bullshit, that BS, those belief systems, BS, bullshit, what if that stuff didn't even exist? You didn't have any of that in your nervous system whatsoever. How would you feel? What would you experience in yourself, in life? What kind of energies? What might you enjoy? Tell me. I like that little giggle. I like that a lot.
Well,
give her a hand for her. She's really positive. Give her a hand for it, ladies and gentlemen. That's it. Beautiful job.
Well,
if you never had that thought that it's terrible to be sexy, or I shouldn't be sexy, or it's showy, or it's not, if those thoughts were gone, if you grew up in a totally different culture where being sexy was natural and beautiful and a gorgeous expression of life, and it brought you closer to the people you love most, and will allow you to have intimacy like you've dreamed of at some point in your life, what would life be like if that thought didn't even exist? That limiting
probably would buy a different wardrobe.
Give her a hand for that, ladies and gentlemen. My goodness. And while you're buying that wardrobe, what would you feel when you tried on these new things and you experience yourself in a new way?
Well, I might feel pretty, Tony, but I would really have to work at feeling sexy.
What if you didn't have to work at feeling sexy? What if you already were? What if you already were? Has anyone ever told you you're sexy?
No.
Not in your whole life.
Oh no.
Has anyone ever looked at you in a sexy way?
Well, yes, I have 2 kids. But no.
Never ever? Is that really true?
Well, maybe privately, but certainly not, my Colombian bombshell partner, Colombian Adriana, may have said, oh, sexy, but that's because she's really sexy.
Oh, now notice, I want to show you what she just did. She actually has legs to say I'm sexy. Her Colombian partner, this person told me once, this person looked at me, but she goes, no, that means I'm not sexy because they just say that because they think they're sexy. See, I want you to notice you can have great experiences and still have a shitty belief. Raise your hand if you get that and say, I. So if people think I believe this because of my experiences. No, we believe this because we've locked ourselves into finding beige and calling it brown so we can match our old belief. And then we're stuck in a prison that blocks us from progress. Can you see that?
I think so now.
Okay, good.
So maybe Adriana's calling me sexy because she thinks I'm sexy.
Oh my God, ladies and gentlemen, give it up for her. That's an insight. That's amazing. Come on, let's hear it. Oh my God, oh my God. And what would it be like if you felt sexy and enjoyed it? Like it wasn't hard. You felt sexy and you enjoyed being sexy.
Well,
it was an expression of what God has given you, an expression of your radiance as a beautiful woman. What would that be like if you didn't have the old thought at all and you just knew you were sexy and it felt beautiful? What would life be like?
Well, that would be life-changing, Tony.
And what would you do differently? What would you experience differently?
Maybe I'll go out with somebody in the future.
Yes.
Maybe.
Give her a hand for that, ladies and gentlemen. That's another movement. Give her another one. There you go. And if you went out with somebody and you felt sexy and you felt their attraction to you and you didn't discount it and you took it in and enjoyed it, yes, look at that. Changes their temperature. I like that. And how good could that feel?
It might feel okay.
Okay. Are you sure
steps.
it would just still feel, if you didn't have the old thoughts, would it feel okay? If the old thoughts were gone, how would it feel?
If the old thoughts were gone, I would feel good.
Yes. Just good? Have you felt radiant, alive, sexy, and you felt someone's attraction to you that you were also attracted to? How would that feel?
That would feel great.
That feel great, ladies and gentlemen. Give it up for her. Now we got to the place we want to be. Come on, let her hear ya. So now,
lots of fun.
So now, what have we done? We've got her to open from I'm not sexy to no, that's not necessarily true, to gosh, when I don't feel sexy and I think I shouldn't and never can, I shut off a part of myself and that could keep me from having the depth of love and intimacy I really want in my life. To what if that was gone? Wow, I could feel great. I could feel these feelings. So the last step is called a turnaround. And we can all do this with ourselves. We're just doing it with Paula. And I decided to pick the hardest one because for Paula, this hasn't been a belief. This has been a conviction that she's not sexy. I mean, a conviction is like, you don't just have 3 or 4 legs. You got legs that go deep in the ground. And if I believe anything else, I'm bad. That's the kind of conviction. That's why I picked it, because it's harder. I could have picked an easy one around her business and it would have changed like this. And she's good at that already. But that's why I want to go deep, because I don't just want her to have a great business. I want her to have a great life. A life where she gets to feel all this beauty that I see. How many of you see a sexy woman here? A man or women, raise your hand, make some noise if you see a sexy woman here. Says she sees you there, ladies and gentlemen.
You're very sweet. You're very sweet.
Right?
You're very sweet.
Because she thinks sexy is just some certain way of being, but most of us know sexy is radiance, it's joy, it's love, it's vulnerability, it's playfulness. She's demonstrated all those things right here with us. It isn't just flaunting it per se. It's so many textures. Authenticity is sexy, isn't it? Vulnerability is sexy. Happiness is sexy, and you've got a lot of joy in you. Playfulness is sexy. How many think all things I said are sexy? Make some noise if you agree with me about all those things are sexy, right?
That's true.
Right? By the way, Paula, all the things I just said, how many of those do you have? Are you playful? Are you loving? Are you warm?
Always.
Are you vulnerable at times?
I love people.
Yes. Are you lovable?
I love people. Yes, I
Are
think
you generous?
So. Always, always.
That's sexy. Is it not?
Challenge me. I dare you.
What's that?
Challenge it.
I'm challenging you.
We're going to give something to some other people too.
Well, we already are, sweetheart. Look around you and give her a hand if you're getting stuff for yourself out of this. If it's not just about her and you're getting stuff for yourself, give her a hand so she knows.
Thank you. Thanks, guys. We love all you guys.
I wouldn't have stayed with this if it was only for you, Paula. I'd love to do it for you, but I'm doing it because your example and your vulnerability is helping other people. And the struggle you've gone through has been a real struggle, but you're opening and you're opening and you're opening. So let's complete it for the benefit of yourself. So what's the last step? The last step is now we sweep the legs, right? We question them, we produce enough doubt, they get wiggly, they're gone. And now we can start to build a new belief. Let's say the new belief is, I'm sexy, but to do it, we got to put some legs under it, but we have these other legs that are already there. So how are we going to change this? We're going to do it by doing what's called a reversal. And let me throw it on the screen for all of you. So I'll give you 3 examples before we do it with Paula so you understand how it works. So notice the steps I've given you. First, we got to break the pattern. We come up with a limiting belief with ourselves or someone else, and then we ask the questions so we produce enough doubt. Is it really true? Could it be a misinterpretation? Could it be a misperception? Do I have all the information to know for sure that I'm next sexy and I never can be and never will be, or it's terrible if you're that way? And eventually, an honest person goes, no, it's not for certain true. I still think it's true, but it's not for certain true, right? That's what she did, basically. But then you go for the bigger guns, the leverage. The leverage is what makes change a must, not a should. And what makes change a must, not a should, is when you get enough pain linked to the old bullshit or the old BS or the old belief system. You follow me, guys? So it's like when you had that alcohol or you had that food and you had that painful experience, it was painful enough, it got linked in your brain, I don't want that anymore, right? Even though it used to be pleasurable, now it's painful. So how do we do that? We go, well, tell me. But you got to make the person feel it. If you're doing it for yourself, you can't do it on the surface. You got to do what Paula was willing to do. At first, she kept it at a distance, but if you watched her, she's beginning like, I haven't thought about that. I really don't think about that. I said, I know, but let's think about it. And she was kind to herself. She opened a bit. She goes, okay, well, I wouldn't feel very good. If very good, I go deeper. We got to get more leverage. Go deeper. Well, maybe I'd never have a relationship. I mean, I have good friends in that, but I like an intimate relationship, like a romantic relationship. And what would that be like? This is where the change comes in, right? By protecting herself not to feel, she's been avoiding having something she deserves. How cool to have a great freaking business and have total romance as well. That's different than just a business. Coming home to your business, it feels good for a while, but after a while, you want to share it with somebody. You want to share the joy, not the business, the joy, the experience, the aliveness, the energy. And she starts to go, wow, I don't want to miss out on that. Oh, now we got some leverage. Okay, what's the third question? Throw it back up there. We go, okay, well, if this belief didn't exist, if you never thought this belief, if you never had this thought, how would you feel? How would you behave? What would you experience? Now, most people come to it quicker, but for Paula, this was more of a conviction, so she pushed back a little bit, but I just stayed with her warmly and sincerely, and same thing you want to do with yourself. And you go, no, but what would it really be like if it didn't exist? Holy shit, I'd feel free. I'd feel alive. I'd feel an energy. Oh, I could have romance. Oh, I might actually date somebody. I might go out with him. I might turn into something. Oh my God, I might have what I really want, right? What's the last step? It's called turnarounds. And this is really simple. And this is what Byron Katie did that I thought was so simple and brilliant. I usually do this more directly, but anybody can do this. That's why I did it, because it's so simple. So you come up with new legs. So you got to come up with the opposite belief. So if her belief was, I'm not sexy, her new belief is, I'm sexy. But what do we got to do? You got to give me at least 3 reasons why you know you're sexy now. So Paula, how do you know you're sexy? Tell me one way you know you're sexy.
Because Adriana tells me, that's why.
Give her a hand, ladies and gentlemen. Adriana tells her she's sexy. Give it up.
Adriana's something else.
All right. Tell me another reason why you know you're sexy.
Because I'm a great dancer.
Oh, give her a hand, ladies and gentlemen. She's a great dancer. Oh, my God. Give it up. Let me hear you. Adriana tells me I'm a great dancer, I'm authentic. You only need 3, but now that you're on a roll, let's go for 4. Give me another
Tony,
reason
you're
why
so
you know you're
naughty.
sexy. I know I'm working you
Naughty,
hard, aren't I,
naughty.
Paula?
You're so naughty. My British mom, right?
Yes. Have you ever thought being naughty could feel good? Look at that look. Look at that. Yes. You're not supposed to be, but you like it. See, being naughty, that's the British part, right? Right?
British. Very
that's
British.
Right. Very British.
Very British.
Yes.
Very proper. We have to be proper.
Yes.
Um,
What's a fourth way you know you're sexy?
Because I'm learning how to dress differently.
Oh, that's really cool. Learning how to dress
Yes.
differently. And by the way,
but a little bit.
I understand. So
Yeah.
by the way,
Okay.
I got a question for you. Adriana's telling you sexy, and she really does believe it. And you're a great dancer. You left that little detail out. And you're in a place where you're authentic, and you're genuine, and you're playful, and you're fun, and you love to have fun, and you're generous, only always. How sexy is that?
I guess that could be sexy in some people's eyes.
How many think that's sexy? Raise your hand so she sees the feedback. Give it up, ladies and gentlemen. Give it up. Let me hear you back there. So I want to know the truth then. Here's the truth. Paula, are you sexy?
I'm a little sexy.
Okay, she's a little sexy, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my God. Give it up. She's a little sexy.
That's pretty good for me. Okay.
A little sexy, okay? Take your finger, show me the little sexy again. Show me that size of sexy. No, you made it smaller. I saw it was bigger a minute ago. I saw you, okay? Take it from that size. Come on, show me that size. And I want you to double the sexiness and tell me, what did you do to double it? Move your finger to twice, there you go, twice the size. And what did you notice that allows you to double the sexiness feeling inside and knowing it's authentic?
That it's okay to be sexy.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen,
give it up for a new
reference. It's okay to be sexy.
It's okay if you're sexy. You're not a bad person if you're sexy.
Yes.
And it might be okay if you're sexy. I mean, there are worse things in this life than being sexy.
That's right. Now do me a favor. Do me a favor, because your finger only goes so far. Double the space from your thumb up high. There you go, a little bit higher. And drop the hand a little lower. That's it. Drop the other hand a little. There you go. So what made it go here? What one more insight would allow you to enjoy being sexy and the enjoyment of what comes with that with someone that you love?
New shoes.
New shoes. Okay.
Permission to buy new shoes.
What's that?
I said permission to buy new shoes.
Permission to buy new shoes?
That's right.
All right. And with those new shoes and that new outfit and that new feeling about yourself, what could you really enjoy about being sexy with someone you love?
Oh man, you're getting deep, Tony.
That's my job.
Maybe an intimate relationship.
Yes.
And that's as far as I could go, at least online.
Who wants you to go any further than that? But to be in a place where you
that's good. That's good for me.
Because by the way, what were you hoping would come by being this incredible businesswoman? What were you hoping?
I'm gonna give it away, Tony. I want to serve. I want to grow and contribute, and those are the last two needs. Remember the six needs.
Of course I do.
Growth and contribution, baby. That's what it's all about. We're all
connected. I know
connected.
that's true, and I know that's true about you.
Yeah.
And my only request, it's only a request.
Yes, sir.
You allow yourself to love yourself first.
Yes, amen.
Or
amen to that.
Let someone else love you, and then you start to trust.
Yes, I love myself. I've come a long way in the last year, so I've learned to love myself dearly, so that I can draw those boundaries that need to be drawn, baby.
Yes, and I'd offer you another possibility.
Yes, sir.
Boundaries is part of your old conditioning.
Yeah.
Boundaries comes from a place of fear. But I'm wondering how open you could be, because you could trust yourself to learn who's appropriate to be in that circle with you and who's not.
Amen to that.
And the only way to know that is this. How does anyone succeed? Good judgment, Where does good judgment come from? Experience. Where does experience come from? Bad judgment.
Yeah.
But we learn. But instead of making it wrong, we learn and we grow. And then there's all this joy available. Because the truth is, I know you want to grow and contribute, and I honor you for that. But I also know what you want underneath it is love. And if you have to wait till you do that to have the love, you're cheating yourself. And that's why I took this time. I never planned to do this. This wasn't the game plan for this session, but I'm so glad it did because we're going deeper than just your business. Because most of you spend more time in your business than you do with your loved ones. More time in your business than you do with your intimate, if you have one. And the truth of the matter is you're doing all this so you'll feel enough so that you'll feel worthy and loved. That's what you wanted from this, from your dad. So I'm saying to you, don't wait. You're too beautiful, Paula. We've all experienced you. I'm not blowing smoke your way. I would not have stayed with you. What makes you sexy is your openness, your vulnerability, your genuineness, your laughter, your joy, your willingness to open, your truthfulness. You've been just gorgeous to us all.
Thank you,
So we
Tony.
want
You
you to take
too,
it
baby.
in,
You
too.
too. Back at you.
Thank you. Give her a big hand for Paula. Paula, are you sexy, woman? Are you sexy? Are you sexy? She's sexy, ladies and gentlemen. Give it up for her. No, give it up for her. Come on. Stand up. Shake your body out for a moment. Stand up. Shake your body out. Shake it out. Shake it out. Shake it out. Come on, let her hear ya. Keep going. That's it. Where's the music, maestro? Wake it up. Stand up and stretch for a moment. Shake your body. Let Paula hear ya. For Paula, let her hear you one more time. Go. All right. So if you want to bust the belief, why do you want to bust it? Because you have a belief that's limiting you. If you have a belief that's empowering you, you want to strengthen it. You want to look for more ways to make it stronger. But most of us, that's not what's stopping us. What's stopping us is some limiting belief. And what are they? No one's going to listen to me. Like, think about them. When we started KBB, I'd go online and I'd watch all the people and watch all the dialogue and communication without entering. Because if I entered, then everybody was talking to me. I wanted to see silently. And I ongoingly still do this. And you'll see people starting up and they're going, I'm so excited. This is the best program. But, it was always but no one's going to listen to me. You know, I'm brand new. No one's ever heard me before. Or I have nothing to share. Or, gosh, I'm not just good with technology. You know, we got this thing so simple, you push a couple buttons, right? It's done for you. I'm just not good at that. Or, I'm not good at selling, or I'm not a salesperson, or I'm scared of selling. Or, too many people are already doing it. I mean, this is an industry, as you've heard, Forbes says it'll be $1 billion a day by 2025. It's one of the fastest growing industries in the world, and there's 7.5, almost 8 billion people on the planet, 4 billion on the web. There's plenty of room. But I don't have a following, or I'm afraid of looking silly, or I'm not good on camera, or I'm afraid of money, I'm afraid of success. Whatever belief is there, it's just a thought that you've told yourself over and over again. Other people told you and listened. Maybe you built some references, you got around other people believe the same thing. But if you want to break through today, let's just do it. You can do it these ways I just showed you. And we'll make this part of a workbook, or for you digitally, or like a card or something we'll put inside here for you so you know the triggers, but it's pretty simple. You got to take and shake the legs that are limiting you. I can't do this, it's impossible, I'm not enough. Okay, what are my references? Let me shake those out. Is it true? Do I have all to know it's true? Is it absolutely? Is there possibly it's a misperception? That loosens it. Okay. What's it costing me to believe this? What do I feel when I believe this? Who does it hurt? What does it destroy? Holy shit. Now I'm really getting it out. What if they were gone? What if that belief was gone? What would I think? What would I feel? What would I do? What's the opposite belief? And then give me 3 ways you know it's true. Someone says, Susie's a bitch. Is that really true? Yes, it's true. Well, do you have all the information on what's going on with Susie? Do you know how her mom's doing, her father's doing? Is it possible somebody in the family has cancer or heart disease? Is she going through a divorce? Do you really know everything that's going on in Susie's life? Do we all know everything, know that she's a total bitch? Is it possible we don't have all the information? Is it possible we're misperceiving her spirit and soul and just looking at behavior in the short term? Person goes, well, yeah, it's possible. Second question, when you believe Susie's a bitch, how do you feel? How do you act? How do you behave towards her? What are the thoughts you make up? What are the emotions you feel when you think she's a bitch? I feel bad. I feel angry. I feel competitive. I feel this. I feel whatever. What if you never had that thought, Susie? But what if you never had the thought that? Well, then I'd like her. Well, if I never thought that, I'd interact with her. I might experience her fresh. I might actually enjoy being around her. Oh, why don't we try that? Let's reverse it. What's the opposite of Susie's a bitch? What's the opposite? Well, I'm a bitch. Oh, that's an interesting opposite. Tell me 3 ways you've been a bitch to Susie. Well, I have prejudged her. I haven't really talked to her. I've given her dirty looks, and I didn't like what she said. Holy shit, I've been a bitch. Let me get rid of that one. How many follow how this process works, at least at a basic level? How many could work with this to create your own breakthroughs here? Say aye. Say aye. Well, let's do one right now, and we'll just go straight at it. This technique I want you to have, but let's just go straight at it really fast. Let's do 4 quick steps right now, and let's pull out what's stopping you. So at this point in your business or the course, let's just start with what is your limiting belief. I want you to take out your paper and your pen or your iPad or your computer, whatever you're doing. Don't just listen to me now. I want you to write this down, and I want you to just think it in your head. And so here's the first question. Step 1, we need to identify your old limiting beliefs. I call it old because a moment ago is old as far as I'm concerned. Anything that limited you even a moment ago, but probably it's been around for a while is my guess. So if you had a belief that was getting in the way of you taking action, a limiting belief that's keeping you from making the progress you want in your life or your business, what would it be? And if you want to write down 2, maximum 3, but I do 1 or 2. What are 1 or 2 limiting beliefs? And you want to just write down 1, I'm cool with that right now. Maybe just pick 1 to keep it simple. What are 1 or 2 limiting beliefs that got in your way? If you're really honest with yourself, because remember what I said earlier, I don't know if you heard me. The limiting factor in anyone's business is always the leader, the psychology and the skills of the leader. That's what's limiting you. And when I say psychology, all that is a set of emotions getting in the way, which are driven by a set of beliefs. Like, that's all I can do. I don't know what else to do. I've tried everything. Bullshit. But when you believe that I've tried everything, you give up. If you tried everything, you found the way. So what's the limiting belief you want to start with? Pick 1 or 2, and jot them down. And then I want you also, while you're writing those 1 or 2, do step 2, which is write down what has this belief destroyed in your life. What does this belief cost you? Who's missing? This is just another way, a more direct way of getting leverage, right? Making change a must. So write down number 1, we'll put some music on. What is your most limiting belief? And then number 2, what are all the consequences? What does this cost you over the years? What did believing this keep you from doing, keep you from trying? What's it keeping you from experiencing today? In your business, or in your profitability, or in your sense of freedom, or in your life. And if you want to do this as something other than business, a personal example, you're welcome to do it. Jot it down, and I'm going to give you 4 minutes to write down all the consequences. That's step 2. What does this cost you? What is this belief? Who is it hurting? And be as honest as you can, because most of us are real positive, so we don't have to look at it. Paula is so positive, she didn't go deep, and she's missed a piece of her life. No more. So what's this belief cost you? Who is it hurt physically or financially? What are you missing out on? What's not in your life today because of this stupid belief? Okay? I'm going to put it on the music, and you got 3 or 4 minutes. Here we go. Once you've got what your limiting belief, one or two are, and what they've cost you, and you really feel it, like it makes change a must, let's go to the third question. And the third question is, what's the truth that would set you free? What's a new belief? What's a belief that if you really believed it, it would change your life? But to do this, I'm going to ask you to stand up because you've been sitting too long. So shake your body out just for a second because you want to ask this from a strong place. Shake your body out. Shake it out. Shake it out. Shake it out. On the count of three, I want you to jump and leap. I want to show you something. Watch for a second. Do you ever notice people saying, I don't know what it is. I feel so tired. I just feel so down all the time. Why do you think I feel so down all the time? I look at them and go, well, look at your body, right? I feel so up. Why do you think I feel so up and so happy? So right now, just for 20 seconds, I want you to point at somebody on the screen, even at your home watching this on the recording, point at so the people on the screen, point somebody at the screen and say to yourself, I own you, baby. Say, I own you. Come on, I own you. That means I challenge you. That right? I challenge you, Ruben. I challenge you, Stu. I challenge you, Yahil. I challenge you, Maxwell. I challenge you to have more energy. For 15 seconds, I want you to jump, leap, and make sound on a 0 to 10 at level 11. Outdo the people around you. 1, 2, 3, go. Wake it up. Break it up. Make a little noise while you're doing it. I see Paula dancing sexy. Virtual high fives, fist bumps everywhere. Wake them up. Awesome job. All right, grab a seat, feeling great. So in this strong state, feeling strong, what's the opposite of your old BS? If your old belief system, I'm a woman and therefore there's a glass ceiling and I can never have it, even though Oprah certainly has, Beyonce certainly has, we could make a huge list. What's the truth? I'm a woman, therefore I control the planet. Every man and woman came through us. They wouldn't exist without us. What's the opposite of your old BS? Your old limiting belief system. Your old belief system bullshit means the same thing. What's the opposite? What's a belief that would set you free? What's a belief if you adopted it instead of the BS? Instead of all that garbage? What's a belief that would make you proud? Would make you grateful, would make you laugh instead of cry or be sad or frustrated, make you driven, make you playful, make life fun or more meaningful. What's a belief that would make you step forward instead of pull back? What's a new belief? It doesn't need to be perfect. Here's a couple examples just to trigger you from the ones I said earlier. So if you got something like, oh, no one's ever gonna listen to me, your new one might be, power moves to those who serve, right? People want to figure it out on their own. They want to shift. They don't want just how, they want who. Who can help me do this? Who can help me get vegan? I have nothing to share. How about my sharing is my power? Or the greatest gift I can give other people is my sincere caring and sharing. Or technology is too hard. Technology makes everything easier. Technology is simple. I'm going to figure it out. I can reach people all over the world if I learn how to click a few buttons. Not too bad. I'm scared of selling. I'm not good at selling. Selling is service. I love to serve. All I'm really doing is influence people to do the things they need to do to make their life better. I get an opportunity to build a bridge to show people how to get over their mistakes and get to what they want. Not sharing them this would be a disservice. Too many people are already doing it. The trend is my friend. When everybody's doing it, there's momentum, right? I don't have a following. There are already people who want to learn what I know. I just need to find them. I'm afraid of looking silly. There is no failure. I'm just learning. These are all simple examples. I want you to write yours. What was your old BS belief? What's the truth that will set you free? So step 3 is, what's the truth? What's the new belief? What would empower you? What would make you move forward? And write it down with strength in your body. Don't you write it casually, write it strong, and then do the 4th step. Write, if I did this, if I believe this, how would my life change for the better? How would my life be enhanced? What would I be able to enjoy? What would I be able to achieve? What would I be able to accomplish with this new belief? So step 3, what's the new belief? Step 4, if you really believed it, how would it change or improve your life? You got 3 minutes. Right, here we go. What's a new belief that'll set you free? What's a new belief that would empower you? What's something that make you feel proud or playful? Something move you forward instead of back? What would you believe if you had no fear? And if you took on this new belief, how would it change your life for the better? How would it change your business? How much more enjoyment would you have, or joy? How much more sexiness or happiness or love or playfulness or financial freedom would you create? How much could you build your business? How many more people could you help with this new belief? And then why do you know that belief is true? Why do you know it's true? How would it change your life? And what's really true about that belief? What are some references? Remember, some legs. What's the opposite of what you used to say to yourself?
All the things that we could remember. I want to remember you.
Give yourself the gift of a new belief. How will it change your life for the better? And then jot down, how do you know it's true? What are 3 ways you know it's true? The new belief. 3 references you have. Get a little energy in your body when you're doing it. Don't just write. Feel strong. Shout the word yes as loud as you can. Just shout the word yes. Say yes. Say yes. Say yes. Right from that state, my friends. Right from that yes state. Nice smile, Rashid. Nice job, Maxwell. I like that big smile. That's a good one. Nice, Teresa. Diana Decker, I like that commitment. That's it, Trey Ryder, even in your car. Big smile. That's it. Keep that energy in your body when you write. That's it, Cosmo. Left to you, Maya. What's the new belief that's going to set you free? How will it change your life to have this new belief and live it? Tell me 3 ways you know it's true. Those are the next steps. You got it. And if you're done, you can write in the chat what your old belief was, what your new belief is, how your life's going to change from your new belief, or how do you know it's true? You're welcome to put in the chat. I can read it then if you want to share. That is freedom, Luis. I changed my life because I'd not have to wait on anyone or anything. I'd move myself forward. I'd easily do it. Nice job, Paula. My new belief will help me contribute and generate income to support my mission. Nice, Nyla. Thanks for the love, Carolina. Thank you, Terry Wilson. Thank you, Paula. My new belief will help me regain my financial freedom. Nice. I'm worthy of success, and it's true because I own it. I can help so many people. My new belief will help me to make an even greater difference. Nice, Holly. I'm allowed to live full out. Nice, Jan. God loves me. There are people waiting to be transformed by me and my knowledge. That's a great one, Raphael. A life of sharing is the only one worth living. Nice belief. Old belief, not enough time. New belief, I schedule the time. I can build whatever I put my mind to and commit to. God will always send the exact person I need to fill the roles in my company. Nice, Brad Hart. There's no failures unless I choose to give up, and I never give up again. I face the challenge. Nice, Louise. I can live on my terms. Nice, Orly. I'm going to meet a good husband, have wonderful children, as well as being successful. Chichuar. It'll allow me to purchase a new starter home this year. I like it, Josanne Jackson. I'm skilled and positively influence people around me. Nice, Stevie. God says we're a masterpiece, wonderfully and masterfully made. Nice, Paula. I am the captain of my life. I like it, Angelo. Old ones, I'm not smart enough. New ones, I rock it. And I'm learning, and I'm a raw model. Nice, Thomas. I'm never alone in it. Everyone is here to support me. I'm unique and consistently channel new ways to succeed. I'm the master of consistency. I'm better than I've ever been before. Nice, Yahil. Nice. I help people solve problems they need to solve with my help and become financially free while I do what I love. Nice. I used to fear failure. Now I face challenges and enjoy it. Nice, Diana Decker. I will be the light to help others out of the darkness. Beautiful, Patricia. I love me and my skills. I'm a major influencer. Good job, Stevie. Great examples. You got 30 seconds left to finish up. What's your old belief? What's your new belief? How will it change your life? How do you know it's true? Give me 3 references. How do you know it's true? Nice, Jan. I can do it. The path is clear. Good job, McKellis. Freedom from my family. Nice, Thomas. I used to sell vacuum cleaners door to door. I can do anything. Nice, Claudia. Old belief, no one wants to hear me. New belief, no one can stop me. I know this is truth because I have the skills and the tools. I have the burning desire, and I know it's bigger than me. There's something bigger guiding me. Very nice, Raphael. I'm scared to fail, scared to try. Thought I was good enough. I'm an imposter. All BS. Good job, Tammy. What's there instead? My authenticity is my point of power, Angelo. I have a lot to teach and share. 10 seconds. Everyone is a genius, and I can help them find that genius within themselves. God created me this way. All I need is within me now. God's within me. Nice, Mindy. I will hire my husband and free him from the 9 to 5 so we can grow and serve together. Nice, Adrago. Beautiful. My story can change so many other people's lives. Nice, Tammy. When I shrink, the mission shrinks. When I expand, the mission expands. I'm living full out. I can do this. All right. Give everybody a hand, ladies and gentlemen. Give yourselves a hand. Give everybody a big hand. Take 2 quick shares before we wrap up with your final assignment. Who'd like to share your old belief, what it was costing you, what your new belief is, how your life's going to change? Raise your hand if you'd like to share. If you'd like to share your old belief, your new belief, okay, Yahil Rashid, give her a hand. Yahil Rashid, I hope I'm pronouncing your name properly. I like your hat. Bring her on up. Give her a hand, ladies and gentlemen. Now, Yahil Rashid. Y-A-H-I-L-R-A-S-H-I. Give her a hand. Is it Yohi? Is it Yohi?
Yali, Tony.
Yoli.
It's Yali.
Yali. Nice to meet you. Where are you in the world, Yali?
I am in Mexico, in Playa del Carmen right now.
Give her a hand in Mexico, ladies and gentlemen. Well, you've been playing full out. You had great energy. So tell us, what was your limiting belief and what did it cost you? What's your new belief? How will it change your life for the better?
All right, Tony. I did a few. I had to take massive action, okay?
Good. I like that.
So, yes. With my new business, I've had the limiting belief that I don't want to do it alone or can't do it alone.
Yes.
There's a lot of competition. It's hard. I'm going to let people down, and I'm not as good as I used to be. And
what's the consequence? What did that cost you when you start believing all that? What does that make you feel? How does that make you impact?
Self-doubt. It made me doubt myself. It made me not be as efficient as I can. It made me feel dependent on other people, other resources, other things. It made me, second guess myself, have to keep relying on other people, look at what others are doing, look at what I used to do, and think that I used to be better than I am now, which is kind of weird, right?
So it produces all this doubt, basically, all this uncertainty.
Yeah.
And in business, by the way, uncertainty is a form of death unless you're doing it deliberately to question something, right? Because without certainty, we don't act, okay?
Yeah.
So then what's your new belief and how does it change your life? Or beliefs, I should say, since I know you got several. I love that.
Thank you. Yes, I'm never alone in it. Everyone is here to support me.
Give her a hand for that, ladies and gentlemen. Start with that one. Give it up. And by the way, tell me 3 ways you know that's true before you even tell me how it's going to change your life for the better.
You know, it's ridiculous, right? Because it's so freaking true. Like, yes. I have every resource, every person, every tool. I'm surrounded by incredible community, incredible friends, examples, mentors, friendtors. I mean, it's endless. But it's so hard to become blind to it.
And how does it change your life when you own this new belief? What does it do? Just this one by itself. What does it change? How do you feel? What do you experience?
Freedom, access, like no limitations. Just I feel unlimited. I feel free.
Give her a hand for that, ladies and gentlemen. Great job for starters. All right, give us the second one. What's the old one? What's the new one? How does it change you for the better? How do you know it's true?
Yeah. Okay, so the old one was, let's see.
I love when you have to look up your old bullshit belief. That's cool.
I don't remember it anymore. It doesn't exist.
I like it.
There's a ton of competition, and I'm sure a lot of people, feel that sometimes, right?
Yeah.
That's bullshit, right? My new belief is I am unique and consistently channel new ways to succeed.
And tell me, when you think there's too much competition, tell me first, what does that make you feel? What does that make you experience? What do you do or not do?
I compare myself to other people rather than rather than, really see like the abundance that there is and the opportunity there is, the example that there is a place for this work, for the things I do. It's like, it's like having a competitor analysis. You want to know that what you want is desired.
That's right.
And then my new belief, right, to know that I'm unique and I consistently channel new ways to empower people. Like it's mine, it's unique, it's downloaded, it has its own essence. It's an accumulation of all the different things and people and stuff that I've touched, and it has so much of its own thing to it, and I know it, and I recognize it, and I feel it.
How does that change the way you think and feel when you think about your life and your business both?
I just feel expansive, unlimited. I feel like I am the master, my own master of everything that I can teach, do, be, have. There's no comparison.
Give her a hand for that so far, ladies and gentlemen. Give her a hand. Let her hear you. And since you did 3, give me one last one here.
All right, one last one is the old belief was I'm going to let people down and myself down, right? Or I'm not as good as I used to be. Those two.
And what does that make you feel when you believe it? Just stay with it just for a minute so you find the leverage even stronger. What do you think? What do you feel? What do you do or not do when you have that belief?
It makes me feel scared, uncertain, and afraid to take action, really. Like, I think it's very numbing. I've seen myself, resist action sometimes from the fear of disappointing or not following through.
And the opposite belief, the truth is?
Well, the truth is that, wait, what did I write? Oh yeah, that I'm such a stand for what I do. I'm a stand for results for people, and therefore I'll never stop being consistent. Like there's no way I can stop because I can't stop because I'm so committed to the outcome, and I'll always and forever take a stand to see people's growth, to see people's transformation. Like it's so alive within me.
If you feel that in her, make some noise so she feels it too, ladies and gentlemen. And when you own that real truth, and by the way, did you all notice that your biggest bullshit, that the truth really is the truth, and that the truth is almost always the opposite of our bullshit, ironically, right? It's almost the opposite of what we told ourselves. But when you own this truth of what you stand for and who you are and what you're made for, basically, is what I'm hearing from you, when you own that, what does that do to the way you feel about your life? What does it do, how you feel about your business? What does it make you do differently? What changes?
Tony, I'm like ecstatic. I'm alive. I'm me. I'm who I really am. I'm who I was born to be. It reminds me of the moments at like UTPW being like live there with you and seeing the audience and everyone like being in their truth and remembering how amazing it is to witness people in their full essence. I feel in my full essence and energy and just who I came here to be.
That's beautiful. Give her a big hand. Thank you so much. Come on, give her a big hand. Congratulations. Give it up for her, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. Oh, let her hear you. Come on, now some music back there. Wake up. Let's go. One more share. Let's have a guy this time. One more share. Who wants to share their old belief, their new belief, what they've transformed? All right, here we go. Maxwell. Give it up for Maxwell, ladies and gentlemen. No, let him hear it. It's Maxwell.
Oh my gosh. I'm so honored.
Maxwell, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear, Tony.
You've been playing full out also. You've had great energy. Where are you in the world?
I'm in Colorado right now.
He's in Colorado, ladies and gentlemen. Give it up for Colorado.
Yeah.
Maxwell, tell us your old limiting belief. And when you believed it, what did that make you feel, experience, and do?
So it's okay. Funny enough, going out throughout like most of my life, I've always been looking for that partner to kind of validate who I am. So I've considered myself like in the past a hopeless romantic, always looking for someone just kind of like in everything I did, in what my career choices were, in my physique, what I ate, my diet, my exercise, everything. So when I was going through the exercise the first time, I actually recognized this about halfway through. I'm like, whoa, this surface level belief of like what I need to do to get a partner is just hiding the deeper fact that for my whole life, I've believed that I need someone else to validate the value of myself, to value like who I am as a person.
And when you believe that, what is that? When you believe that, how's it made you feel? How's that made you behave? How's that made you experience life?
Oh my gosh, so heavy. Like heavy is really the easiest word to describe it. You go through life and you like kind of searching, like you're missing a piece, like you're not complete.
Yeah.
And it's really held me back from opening myself up to others because I've been guarded, like constantly worrying what others are thinking of me or how I might be judged by, someone who I think is cute or something like that. And yeah, it's not allowed me to fully play out in my own life in terms of like who I want to be and who I want to see myself as.
Yes.
And instead of, I think that's the old limiting belief. And the new belief is that I am enough when I value myself and when I choose to love myself.
Give them up for that, for starters, ladies and gentlemen. Give it up for that for starters. That's awesome.
And so I've just been, it feels like such a release.
If you believe that, if you really know you're enough because you're constantly growing, that you're a love inside. I mean, Maxwell, you're a love, right? You want love, but the more you've tried to be a certain way, the less attractive you would be probably to your ideal other, because you're not being yourself, right? And so you're trying so much. Every woman knows a guy that's trying. Every woman knows a man who owns himself, right? And there's a big difference. And, men who own themselves aren't always even that attractive, but they're more attractive to women than a guy who's trying all the time, right? So when you own yourself, tell me, what does that change in you when you say, I have this, I validate myself. I don't need validation from someone else. That doesn't mean you still don't want to share or experience love, but what's the difference with this new belief? What do you feel? How is life different?
It's like the joy. It's like permission to be like happy in my own company.
Let's give a hand for that for starters, ladies and gentlemen. Hell.
And it's just so freeing. I feel like I have so much more. It's only been a matter of minutes since we did this exercise, but I want to go run around the block. I want to, I feel like I have so much more energy to give back to the kids that I work with, or, the people in my life who I've been kind of like closing off because I've been taking too much time focusing on my own selfish crap that I've been just letting hold me back. So now it's just like, I feel like I've got more to give to others, and like, I can truly enjoy being with myself and truly like step out into life in a way that's meaningful for me. And maybe that partner will see that and who knows, but yeah, that's not what's important.
Our limiting beliefs are like an energy suck. Imagine every day, everyone wakes up with 100 units of energy. We all have different levels of energy we may have built or might have genetically, but then imagine 50% of it's gone based upon a limiting belief. You only got 50% of that energy. The difference is you're now unleashed because you're no longer compressing. You're just being yourself. You're not wasting that time with the tension of trying to be a certain way. How do you know this is really true? Tell me 3 ways you know your new belief is true. Tell me your new belief and tell me 3 ways you know it's true.
My new belief is that I'm enough and I can enjoy life in my own company. I know this is true because when I say it, it lights me up inside. I can feel the fire, and it feels light. It feels energetic, and I love it.
Yes.
I also know this is true because my dog is just looking at me, wagging his tail right now, and he's been like asleep this whole time. So, he obviously sees this is true too, and he knows that he's getting more walks with my extra energy. And, I guess the third one would have to be, I don't feel like I can stop smiling since I figured this out. Like, it's just like, that's got to be a sign that I'm on the right track with this. So
you sure
I'd say those are the reasons for me, Tony.
That's awesome. Give him a big hand, Max. Love to you, brother. Give it up for him, ladies and gentlemen. No, come on, let him hear you. Well, I've gone way the heck over on time. I think this was supposed to be 45 minutes to an hour, and I think I went about 2 and some time. So I just want to thank you all for participating, but more importantly, whether you're watching this, now or you're watching it later on, you're having a direct experience. The only thing that stops us really is fear. We're all afraid we're not enough. We're all afraid that if we're not enough, we won't be loved, so we're not smart enough, young enough, old enough, rich enough, playful enough, something enough. I've worked with literally millions, hundreds of millions of people around the earth, from the most successful to the most challenged. Everybody has the same 2 fears. It's called being human. But guess what? You can overcome your fears. And all the beliefs you've created are a way to try and protect yourself. But remember, the wall that protects you also imprisons you. If you want to take your business to the next level, just get clear. What's the limiting belief? And if you can't find it, somebody around you probably can help. But now you've got a couple ways to break through. Question it. Get yourself to feel the leverage of what it's costing you. come up with what's really true, right? What would you like if that belief didn't exist? And then capture at least 3 ways you know it's true and link it to what you're going to do in the future. And you got yourself a great fundamental, basic belief-busting process that can free you to the next level. Listen, my life was changed by changing my own beliefs. And your life will change too. Beliefs create or beliefs destroy. Destroy the ones that are destroying. Create some new ones that move you forward. And we'll look forward to you on the next session. Blessings, and thank you all for participating. God bless. We'll see you soon. Take your life and make it a masterpiece. Bye-bye. Before you go, let me give you an assignment, because whenever we do one of these things, I like to make sure we didn't just do something in the moment. So if you want to make sure these beliefs last, how did you keep the old ones? You conditioned it. You know, they take monkeys at University of California, Irvine, and I don't prove this, what they'll do, they'll tape 4 of the monkey's fingers down, and they bend one finger 10,000 times. Then they untape the monkey's fingers, and what do you think they do? Like this. Why? Because they've been conditioned 10,000 times. Every time you do this, go ahead and take your finger like this and just do this once. Do it again. How'd you do it? Well, I don't know. I just thought it. Well, in order to make this happen, you have to connect neurons in the brain. That's a big word for nerve cells in the brain. So imagine doing this once, and imagine as a metaphor, you get a thread connecting 2 neurons. Do it twice, 2 threads. 10,000 times, you're wired to do it. How many of you drive to work on the same way or get on the same subway, have a pattern that you do? How many got a pattern you've done consistently, at least before COVID, right? And then how many of you have times when you're supposed to go a different place, but your brain's out to lunch, you're on the phone, and your body takes off and gets off that same on-ramp? Who knows what I'm talking about here? Say aye. Say aye. You're a monkey. You've been conditioned. But you know what they found out? They didn't have to bend this 10,000 times to condition someone. First, they could break the conditioning by every time it happened, it's going stop, stop, erase, and they just break the pattern, break the pattern. And if you stop using it, you don't use it, you lose it. That includes losing an old negative belief. You just go erase, erase. It's that old bullshit belief, erase. Some of you have been to Unleash the Power Within. You know we do a full day of immersion. You'll never go to these beliefs again. But for right now, just erase, erase. But they also found they could get you to wire this same finger with less than 10,000. With 50 to 100 of these turns. But here was the difference. When they bent the monkey's finger, they stimulated the pleasure center of the brain. So it's like, ha, 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 right? And what they found is when they put pleasure as they bent the finger, they would get 100 connections, 100 threads at once. So if you want to take these new beliefs, here's your quick assignment, because I was about to leave, but I just thought, let's give you a quick assignment. You want to carry this beyond today. So what I would do is I would come up with this new belief, and I would literally condition it into my nervous system by doing it in my body. It's one thing to think it in your head. It's another to do in your body. So I would do what I called incantations, not affirmations. Affirmations, you go, I'm happy, I'm happy, I'm happy, I'm happy, I'm happy, and your brain goes, read between the lines, you're not happy, right? So saying it is not the same as feeling it, embodying it, experiencing it. And I'll tell you one of the days that completely changed my life. When I was really young, my mom was an intense woman. I had 4 different fathers. And my 4th father, who adopted me, on Christmas Eve, she kicked him out of the house. And he went back east. And then I talked back. I love my 4th dad. And so she decided I was inside, so she chased me out of the house with a knife on Christmas Eve. Now, I knew she wasn't going to kill me, but I wasn't going back in that house. And so I had to figure out what to do. So I slept on this hilltop around the corner from where we used to live, and then it rained. So the next day I went to a girlfriend, not a girlfriend, but a friend who was a girl's house, and I said, could I sleep in your laundry room for a few days while I figured this out? And I remember I did. And then I had like $12 to my name. I worked as a janitor. I was still in high school, and I worked as a janitor, making like $40 a week. And so I took this I'd been to this, what do you call it? I guess it would be a spiritual bookstore years before. And so I took the buses to this particular bookstore. I took a little money I had left, and I bought a book called The Magic of Believing by Claude M. Bristol. I read the book cover to cover. I went back to the little laundry room, and in it talked about conditioning your mind with incantations, what they said was not just saying something and affirming it. It was seeing it, feeling it, embodying it over and over again until it was like in your body. Like, have any of you made the fatal mistake of going to Disneyland and getting on a ride called It's a Small World After All? Who's ever made this fatal mistake? Raise your hand if you make some noise if you know what I'm talking about. You ever been on that ride? What happens? You're hearing that freaking song in 167 languages by the time you're done, right? Because it's over and over again. Well, we all have incantations or incantations. Same spelling, different emphasis. Incantation or incantation. Well, we tell ourselves we can't do all the time. And it's just conditioning. So what I would do is I went, and I remember I was taking all these buses. I'm working as a janitor. I read this book. I've been conditioning my mind. And I come out to the bus stop, and I'm sitting there at 2 in the morning because I would work till 2 in the morning cleaning these banks. And then I'd take the buses home, go to bed at 3:30 or 4, wake up 4 hours later and go to school. And I was exhausted. I kept waiting, and now it's 2:15, 2:30. Finally, around 3 in the morning, a car drives by in the darkness. Guy rolls down his window and goes, "Dude, don't you know there's a bus strike?" Like, what? How the hell am I get home? So I'll tell you what I did. One of the most powerful days of my life. It wasn't planned. I was so frustrated, and I had to get home, and I didn't have a car, and I had a 1960 Volkswagen. I earned it $40 a week as a janitor. My mom kept my car. So I decided to run home. Now, running home, it was 16 miles. I know because I went back and measured it later on, right? It was usually 3 bus rides for all this time. I ran the whole time doing incantations. First, it was just anger, I'll be honest, that drove me. I'll show her, right? But your anger kind of gets old. So then it's like every day and every way I'm getting stronger and stronger. Every day and every way. And I do that. Every day I'm getting healthier. Every day I'm getting happier and happier. And I would say this, but I would shout it in the darkness as I'm doing this jog. Now, I'd never run more than 2 miles. But I was driving on this adrenaline. And then every day and every way. Then I was like, all I need is within me now. All I need is within me now. All I need is within me. All I need is within me now. I did this for hours. I ran the furthest I've ever run in my entire life. And that sense of pure determination got wired in me. And that was, golly knows how many decades ago, 5, almost 4 something decades ago plus. It's still in me now. So here's what I want to encourage you to do. Here's your simple assignment. I want you to go for a walk or a run for the next 5 to 7 days, maybe 10, but at least 5, 7 be the middle, 10 is for you overachievers. And what are you going to do? I want you to take your core new belief, or if you got a couple of them, and I want you to just go for the walk, and I want you to say, every day and every way I'm getting stronger and stronger. Or, right, all I need is within me now. And you can change it so it doesn't get old. You start with all. All I need is within me. All I need is within me now. 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 And it sends a message into your nervous system. And guess what? After doing this for 5, 6, 7, 10 days, I did it for about a month. I did all these incantations. I'd say God's wealth is circulating in my life. His wealth flows to me in avalanches of abundance. All my needs, all my desires, all my goals, they're all instantly available now. I am one with God, and God is everything. And I would do it over and over again, and I would imagine abundance of love and friendship and impact. And then it happened. You create your world first by what you create in your mind and your heart. And you can create it with consistency. Don't just write down today, my old belief, here's the consequence, my new belief, here's what's cool. That's a good start. Here's the 3 reasons why it's true. Now let's make it true. Let's go 5, 6, 7, 10 days for 30 minutes on a walk or a jog and just get the rhythm of saying it over and say it different words. You do that and you'll own it. And when you own that belief, you own your life at a new level. Who's up for this here? Say I. Say I. You create the habit of this belief with a sense of certainty in your body, and you will find you will manifest this as well. Make sense? Who's up for the action item here so we follow through and get the real results? All right, that's it. Give it up, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see you soon. Great to be with you. Take care. Come on, crank up the energy, everybody. Stand up. That's it. chat box. Love to you guys. Thank you.